See, a lot of us, we have machines like this lying down in our garage, in our living room, in our basement. It could be that you have an industrial machine. It could also be just a regular, straight sewing machine, even a zigzag machine. The machine has been covered up with all manner of stuff. I see a memory card on my machine right now, a keyboard, a sellotape, another keyboard, all manner of dust lying around. And for some funny reason, I even see kind of a dead fly. I'm just going to take that out. See, it shouldn't normally be like this. See, in this video, I'm going to show you exactly, first of all, how your machine is going to be looking very, very clean, and how you can actually use this machine to make a lot of money. See, what if I told you that that machine lying down right now in your garage, in your living room, can actually be used to create a lot of money? It doesn't matter if it's going to be on eBay, on Etsy. The principle is pretty much the same. Take a look at this beautiful offer here. This is an offer that I physically created on eBay. Pillow covers in different sizes, well over 25 colors, decent premium cotton fabrics being sewn into pillow covers. Of course, you might be wondering now, how is this even possible? Guys, I'm telling you because I have done it myself. There used to be a time I was overthinking the process, wasn't so sure what exactly I needed to do, to even convert cotton fabrics into pillow covers. I overthought the process for so long, never took action until my machine that I bought, this right here is a UK industrial sewing machine, was covered up in dust because I bought it with the intention of using it to make money. But somewhere along the line, it hit rock bottom. I was overthinking the process, and in the end, I didn't make any move. The machine was covered in dust until I was able to overcome the limiting beliefs, the things setting me back, holding me from actually taking action. And I did take action. I created a very beautiful offer like this on eBay, and it has been selling over and over and over and again. And if you are subscribed to the channel, this is exactly what you are ultimately going to learn. You're going to have somebody cheering you on, because a lot of us, we do not have somebody giving us that support. The kind of voices we tend to hear around is the voice that tell us it is not possible. You cannot make money sewing, pillow covers. Not in this day and age where everybody wants to buy new or buying cheap stuff from China. You don't have to do that. You are better off keeping your sewing machine. Nobody's going to be able to make money using a sewing machine in 2025. This is the limiting belief, one of the things that have been holding you back. Of course, if you are subscribed to this channel, definitely I am going to be able to, turn around that limiting belief, and you are going to be taking action and making money using your sewing machine. See, right here is a cotton fabric, pink. A few days ago, a buyer went to my shop on eBay, went ahead, bought 10 pieces of this, pillow covers in the size 45 by 45 centimeters. And in this video, just like I'm trying to motivate you to tell you exactly what you have to do, I'm going to be showing you how I went ahead, made these pillow covers in no distant time, and went ahead and shipped it off to the buyer. And this is exactly what I do every day, making money, sewing pillow covers for profit. Of course, first thing you have to do, you have to make sure that the fabric that you have is exactly enough for you, for the project that you are about to undertake. This particular fabric here is 4.5 meters. Of course, well over what I actually need to make 10 pillow covers in the size 45 by 45 centimeters. But I always want to start at this safe spot, because this is exactly what will give me the kind of freedom I need. I do not want to be, boxed in. The best thing you want to do is to have enough fabrics to, cut exactly what you need. Of course, there's going to be pieces of materials, lying around. It is what it is. There's just no way you're going to avoid wastage in this business. Once in a while, you're going to be getting, excess fabric. The only thing you have to ensure that you are actually, disposing of them properly. Because I've been doing this for over a long time, yes, I've also learned a way to actually minimize the amount of fabrics that is being wasted, while cutting this fabric. This is exactly why you need to know the exact technique, how to pull this off. One thing that might be holding you back is that you buy materials, you tend to switch to pillow covers, and you do not make profit because you are wasting a lot of the fabric. See, there is a scientific part to this, and this is exactly what I show you on this channel, because I do not want you to, go the way I also went many years ago, making losses. Even though I was able to sew pillow covers, decent finishing, I wasn't making profit because I was busy wasting my materials, throwing away excess fabric that should have been used, to create even more pillow covers. I kept wasting them, and that was very, very unacceptable. You see, right now, I already have my fabric cut out because I am making a 45 centimeter by 45 centimeter pillow cover. I'm actually starting up with this fabric being 47 centimeter by 47 centimeter, because for my experiment, this is the exact size that will ultimately give me 45 centimeter when I am done doing it. See, some of us also have a way of overthinking this process. You feel like you do need an industrial, weaving machine or an overlocker to actually, make pillow covers to sell on a platform, say eBay or Etsy. But in this video, I'm actually showing you I have the most basic form. It's just a Toyota overlocker, but one thing I've always ensured is that the machine is in a very, very good condition. Every now and again, each time I use them, I always want to go ahead and clean it up, because this is the only way you can actually ensure that your machine keeps working for you for a very, very long time. If you, have this habit of using your machine and just, dumping it off, you're going to be sorry, because one day you're going to wake up, try to use the machine, and the machine is going to say to you, today I do not have any motivation whatsoever to work because you have not kept me clean. You have not put in the right effort to ensure that I am always in the best working condition. You see, an overlocker is an important tool. If you want to ensure that the product that you are creating, meets customers' expectation, you have to ensure that the edges of the fabric that you are working on is woven at all time, which means you have to constantly, apply your overlocker. If you don't want to do this, you are going to end up, making pillow covers that are not going to meet customers' expectation. People are going to be disappointed, and you might be wondering why people do not want to return back to your shop to buy stuff. The secret is, if you use your overlocker, decently, definitely you'll be able to create, perfectly and professionally looking pillow covers that people will not mind, spending 10 euros, 15 euros in buying, because you have just, proven that you have the quality. Because your fabric is of premium cotton, you have also combined it with a very good, finishing. Definitely the people that receive this thing from you are going to be, very, very satisfied. See, you want to start off by weaving just the two edges of the, material that you've cut. Later on, I'm going to show you exactly at what point you should weave, the side of the fabric. For now, because we're going to go ahead and install our zippers. Mind you, this is going to be a pillow cover, with zippers. I'm just going to weave just the two edges, just like that. And later on, we're going to do whatever we have to do next. See, the zippers is also something that you have to be used to. See, sometimes we want to look for zippers that are already, finished. But this was one lesson I also had to learn, over a very long time. I realized that, look, you using continuous zippers is just the best way to go. Of course, you may have to do some reconstruction, trying to fix this, sliders on the zippers, but it takes little or no effort to do that. And in my previous videos, I have actually shown you exactly how you can do that. This right here is a hack, because if you want to go the route of buying, non-continuous zippers, trying to use them for every pillow covers you make, first of all, you're going to be running at a loss, and it's going to be a lot of inconvenience. And this is exactly why this particular hack right here is something that I had to, develop because of the problems I was facing. Mind you, I was making this thing for a very long time without making profit. And this thing right here pretty much changed the game for me. And this is exactly what you want to be seeing, doing. The moment you fix your, sliders on the zippers, it's going to look exactly like this. Yes, like I said, sometimes it's always not going to be looking very straight, but the more you do it over and over and again, you're going to pretty much be a professional in fixing sliders on the zippers, and you are going to be glad you actually saw this hack. So now that everything is done, this is the time that we have to actually go back to our machine. This machine that was looking dusted up, this is exactly what you need to turn this fabric into money. Like I said, this is a UK industrial sewing machine. You pretty much do not need something as robust like this. This is something that you can actually do with any kind of machine you have. A straight sewing machine, an electric sewing machine, a manual machine. Do not overthink this process, because this was a mistake I made. I was thinking that, making money sewing pillow covers to sell on a platform would necessitate me having an industrial sewing machine. So I spent a lot of money trying to buy this machine. But at the end of the day, I realized that any regular machine would have done the trick. But I kind of like this machine. It's a UK industrial sewing machine, like I said. I'm going to be throwing the model number up in this video while editing it. But this is one machine that I can highly recommend to you. It is fast, very, very robust. Straight sewing on this machine is pretty much a one-way process. You do not have to, struggle to have decent stitches. And this machine kind of makes it possible for me to sew out these pillow covers in no distant time. And even me, reeling onto the bobbin takes little or no effort. Everything just goes smoothly. And above all, this machine is one quiet machine. I've never seen a quiet machine as this. If you have the budget and you feel like you want to spend some money on something decent, this is one machine I can highly recommend. All right, now that everything is ready, definitely I need this flower to give me a little bit of motivation. This machine was looking really messed up, but right now with this flower right behind me, definitely I should be motivated enough to go ahead and sew this pillow cover. See, this machine also has very easy threading. You do not need any magnifying glass or stuff like that to take the thread through the various positions you have to take it through. I actually know of some machines where before you have to thread it, you might pretty much have to read the manual over and over and again before you even understand where the thread is going to go. But for this machine, you do not have this kind of problem. And this is one reason why I said if you are looking for something not so complicated, this is exactly what you need. Guys, it took me less than 1 hour to make these 10 pillow covers. Look, this is even counting the distractions. If I have to factor in the fact that I was distracted, I'm just going to say 1 hour. But on the whole, it took me about 3 minutes to make each of these pillow covers. And because the fabric is a very decent fabric, not a fabric that will give you problems on your machine, not a fabric that will cause you pain, because I understand what I'm talking about when I talk about fabrics that causes pain, because there are some fabrics that will see to it that before you sew anything, you have to keep retreading your machine. The thread is going to cut, something's going to happen, all manner of problems tend to arise. But this fabric, given that it's a premium 100% cotton fabric, is exactly what you want to be seeing using. Of course, I understand that there are different, categories of pillow covers. You have linen, you have polyester, but I kind of want to encourage you guys, if you want to make a lot of money sewing pillow covers, you want to look in the direction of cotton fabrics. Guys, this is exactly what I did. I did this process 10 times, attaching the zips to the cotton fabrics, making sure that every stitch I make was clean, and at every time, I always made sure that the rest thread I had was neatly cut off, because this is one thing you do not want to leave for the finishing. I understand that there are people that also have this kind of technique of sewing, but from my experience, if you can actually go ahead and cut off, the rest thread from your fabric, this is the best thing that you can actually do. Leaving everything for later would still be good, but it's just not a professional way of sewing. The best practice, even though it might be a little bit of a hassle to learn it, but if you learn it and learn it once and for all, you're going to realize that this is the best thing that you ever learned, which is you just going ahead, cutting every rest thread that you have while still on your sewing machine. Do not leave it for later. And one hack that I also have for you guys is you have to use a zipper presser foot in sewing your zippers to your pillow covers. Of course, understand that it's also possible to use the standard presser foot, but if you want to do a decent job, you do not want to continue to fight with the sliders, break your needles in the process. The best thing that I can recommend to you is for you to have a zipper presser foot. These things are cheap. You can get them on Amazon, on eBay, on Etsy, any online marketplace. You should be able to get a zipper presser foot. This is very, very important. I see people complaining, I cannot seem to fix a very decent and professionally looking, zipper on my pillow covers. Guys, I have been there before, trying to fix zippers on pillow covers using the traditional foot. It doesn't work. It's a lot of hassle, a lot of stress. If you want to have peace of mind, stressless, installation of the zippers on the pillow covers, please listen to me when I tell you, use the zipper presser foot in sewing your zippers to your pillow covers. See, now that everything has been done, 10 pillow covers, decent finishing, everything has been sewn. This is the best time for me to now go ahead and use the overlocker on the two sides of the pillow cover. This is the best time. Like I said, you could also do this in the beginning, but I have just found out that if you want to do a decent job and you also want to, save your overlocker thread, it's always best when you can actually finish sewing and then go ahead, use your overlocker on the two edges of your pillow covers. It takes no effort to do that. Exactly the same thing I did in the beginning. All you have to do is to be careful that when you finish using the overlocker on your pillow covers, you have to also ensure that first of all, you cut off the rest thread that you have, and also ensure that your machine is cleaned up, because a clean machine will just make it possible for you to use the machine over a long time. And not only that, sometimes, these machines, given that I'm working on a pink fabric, if I have to come back here, and work on a white fabric, there is a possibility that, look, this white fabric might be stained because of the pink debris on the overlocker. So you blowing out all the debris, before using the machine again on a different color of fabric is a very, very good practice, and you should be seen, doing this each time. All right, guys, this is the moment that is the most interesting, moment. Now the pillow covers have been sewn, zippers attached, everything looking clean, looking sleek. All I have to do at this stage is to go ahead and turn the pillow covers inside out. In the process, also taking a look to see if there are any defects, sometimes some missed stitches, the zippers not working properly. In this stage, see, I want to advise you, at this point, you do not necessarily have to use any sharp object. A long time ago, I would have to, push in a screwdriver trying to bring out the edges. But I'm telling you guys for free, if you have done a decent job in sewing these pillow covers, bringing out the edges would just be a walkover. The zippers are going to come out clean and straight. The edges are also going to come out clean. You do not necessarily have to push in anything to bring them out. You just shaking it up a little bit would make it possible for all the edges, to come out clean. See, even if I do not have to iron these pillow covers right now, it's already looking in a very, very, clean condition. Beautiful, decent colors. But then I still feel like there's a place for you to actually go ahead and iron it, because the presentation of these pillow covers also has a long role to play in the customer being satisfied or not. If I were to go ahead and deliver these pillow covers like this without being ironed, the buyer might still be satisfied, but it's always best when the pillow covers are delivered, the buyer takes a look at it and sees that, look, the seller or the manufacturer has actually gone a long way to actually, do a decent job by even ironing the pillow covers, making them good to go, which is ready to use. This goes a long way to increasing customer satisfaction, and it's exactly what you should be doing. Guys, I'm going to tell you that these pillow covers are professionally looking very good. I love these colors. They are pink, 100% cotton, like I said to you. One thing you want to avoid cheap quality fabric, because it's going to amount to being penny wise and pound foolish. These fabrics right here, even though they're a little bit more expensive, but this is the only way you can actually ask a customer to pay you even more for the pillow covers you are selling. I've seen situations where people try to cut corners, try to buy cheap stuff, but then they sew into pillow covers, and when the buyers use them once or twice, everything is washed out. I'm telling you that the buyers are going to complain if they receive anything substandard. People are always happy when they receive items, they wash it, it doesn't bleed the color, it doesn't shrink. They are definitely going to come back to your shop to consider buying one of these many colors you have out there. But see, if I have to use an electric iron to try to iron this thing one after the other, it's going to take a long time. I won't be able to do it, but thankfully, I have this device right here. It's a heat press. It has made my life much, much easier. This is a hack. It also didn't happen like this overnight. I also had to think of a way to just make this process even shorter. And one thing I realized was that, look, if I have a heat press, I can actually go ahead and iron these pillow covers, give them decent finishing in no distant time. And this is exactly what I have been using. It has saved me hours of stress And I can highly recommend that if you want to do this business, you want to make money doing this, and you do not want to pass through a lot of stress doing it, one thing you want to consider getting as time goes on is for you to get a heat press like this. It's going to change the game for you exactly how it changed it for me. Now that everything has been done, of course, I'm not going to ship this thing off to the buyer just like that. I still need, transparent, bags like this to put it on, because when a buyer receives this thing, everything is looking very clean. The buyer is going to feel like, yes, he or she has gotten a very good deal for his or her money. This is the reason why finishing is also a very important part of the process. I've got my, my branding, my shop name, the kind of pillow covers that's in it, the kind of materials, the different colors. This is something I want to always include in every package. Right now, I'm just packing 2-piece in a bag, which I feel is kind of good enough. It could be even much better if I had a smaller bag. Of course, I do, but I felt like allowing the fabric a little bit of space to breathe in the bag is something I want to do at this time. The other times, I feel like using a smaller bag might be best to present, the pillow covers. All depends on how I feel, but in this particular case, I feel like these bags are just good enough. But you want to go ahead and design your branding. There are so many ways you can actually design this on Canva, on Photoshop, and good enough we're in the day and age where AI can actually do a lot of heavy lifting for us. This is something that you can actually use, design responsible, branding for your pillow covers. I've seen people just sewing this thing, shipping it off just like this without any branding. It doesn't tell well that you are a professional in your field. One way you want to make buyers, feel about your product is for the buyers to be able to feel that, look, they have bought something from a professional shop, and they will not hesitate coming back to your shop to actually, buy more colors if the need arises. One beautiful thing about pillow covers is that there's going to always be the need for people to change their pillow covers, be it in summer, in winter. Somebody's going to wake up and say, look, I kind of fell in love with the color pink, or I fell in love with the color orange, or I just want a makeover of my sitting room. I want to have green pillow covers, or in my bedroom, I want to have, yellow pillow covers. Your ability to create these offers, is going to make it possible that you continue to get sales all year round. If you limit yourself to just having one color or two color or one size, yes, of course, you're still going to make sale, but this is also one way I kind of broke into this business. I realized that, look, there are people that will want to buy 45 centimeter by 45 centimeter pillow covers. Others might want 50 centimeters by 50 centimeters. And some other person might come around and say, look, I want 30 centimeters by 30 centimeters. See, I developed a mathematical formula for all these sizes, how you can create them, what kind of fabric you need, what kind of zippers you need, how you need to cut them as to minimize wastage, what kind of packaging materials you actually, need to make it possible that you ship off your orders, to your buyers in no distant time. All these things have been well documented. And if you are saying, I want you to show me exactly how I can pull this off, exactly how I can replicate this whole process, go to the link in the description below, click on it. It's going to take you to an offer that you can actually get that takes you by the hand and tells you one step after the other how you can actually go ahead, sew pillow covers without having to pass through pain. And if you even want me to take you by the hand, in kind of a video call, you also have the opportunity, to book a session with me where I will, teach you one-on-one how to sew these pillow covers in a video call. Exactly what I feel you need. If you are that person that says, I always need somebody to support me, I'm not good at just, watching online videos alone. I want to have a physical interaction with you. Definitely, this is going to be an offer that might be of interest to you. But for the rest of you, if you have found value in this video at some point, please go ahead, smash the like button. And if you are not subscribed, please consider subscribing to the channel. Until I see you again in the next one, peace.